Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Vasconcelos, Director of College Finance for Bright Horizons College Coach, and I just wanted to check in with you very briefly regarding some of the financial implications of the coronavirus pandemic and all of the fallout associated with that for families planning for college. Some things that you might want to keep in mind on the financial side of things. I actually just recorded a podcast segment earlier today discussing these financial issues, and the video recording didn't end up working. So I at least wanted to put this quick video out there in order to refer folks to our podcast in case you're not regular listeners, along with some of the other resources that we've got available that have more information for you. And how this crisis affects your financial planning for college, I think really depends on where you're at in this process. So for parents with young kids who are saving for college, my biggest words of wisdom, I think, would be don't panic. Your college savings likely have taken a hit with the volatility in the stock market lately, but don't let that fear that stock market losses kind of naturally bring up for us lead you to make rash decisions that are really in opposition to what your savings goals are. Let this maybe be your wake-up call to review your college savings strategy. Make sure it makes sense for you based on your timeline and your risk tolerance, but don't let it lead you to throwing all your plans out the window. Let your underlying values, your goals guide your savings strategy moving forward rather than the panic. We do have a recent blog post that kind of goes into how to do that a little bit more, so make sure you check that out. Now, for parents of high schoolers who might be beginning to research their college options, or even for high school seniors who are making their enrollment decisions right now, you might want to be giving more thought to the financial implications of your college choices, particularly if your savings have taken a hit, or maybe if you're in kind of an uncertain income situation moving forward. Maybe you want to think about more affordable college options than you perhaps would have in another time. And that could be community college for a couple years before transferring to the four-year school. That could be looking at your in-state public four-year options. Could be looking at schools that might be very generous with you with need-based financial aid. Could also be schools where you stand out, where they're going to want to recruit you with merit scholarship funding. So we have tons of resources about all of those options that you might want to take a look at. I would also think about the financial health of the colleges that you're considering and whether they are likely to be able to bear this economic crisis. We do have a blog post coming out next week, as well as I think an upcoming podcast segment that talks about how to do that. So stay tuned for those. Now, for high school seniors who might have already applied for financial aid and might have received financial aid offers, but their financial situation looks very different than the way it looked maybe back in October when you completed aid applications, appeal your financial aid offers. Document your change in circumstances. Ask the financial aid office to reconsider. Also, if you have merit scholarship offers from different schools, I would go back to the admissions office and ask for more based on better offers that you might have received elsewhere. The worst a college will do in these circumstances is say, no, sorry, we have no more money. But you might be surprised at how often they say yes, so don't hesitate to ask for more. Also, if you're a current college student, let your financial aid office know if you are struggling. There was some emergency grant funding recently approved by Congress to provide schools with grant funding for students who are affected. So ask your financial aid office if you need help. If you can no longer work your work-study job because your campus is closed, and that's a hardship, check in with your school about that as well. They may be able to provide either some remote work options or maybe even keep paying you your regular paycheck even if you can't work. That flexibility was also included in the CARES Act that was just signed into law. And then finally, federal student loan borrowers, you have also been granted relief by Congress. Both payments and interest accrual on loans that are owned by the U.S. Department of Education have been automatically suspended until September 30th. And that's meant to allow borrowers who might be struggling, might be on a reduced income right now, to get back on their feet, time to get back on their feet. If you happen to not be struggling, you can opt out of the automatic forbearance that your servicer has granted you. So you can keep making payments if you want to, and your full payments will go to principal since interest is not accruing during this time, and that will allow you to pay off your loans quicker and will cost you less. So you'd want to do that if you can. If you happen to be receiving employer loan repayment assistance. That has been made tax-free for the rest of that year, so that's some more good news. So we've got a lot more information on all of the things I've talked about today on our blog, which is at blog.getintocollege.com. On our podcast, search for Getting In, a College Coach Conversation. On our YouTube channel, on all our social media pages. So just make sure that you keep in touch with us. We are updating our resources regularly as new information becomes available. And I've just touched on the financial side of things in this particular video, but we have tons of information about the college application process and how that is affected by this current crisis. So definitely check out all of those resources. I know this is a really, really stressful time for all of us, but we are all in this together. Keep in touch so we can try to get you the information that you need to make your college decisions with as little added anxiety as possible in this really anxious time. So bye for now. Thank you for listening, and please do stay healthy. Bye-bye.